DITP, Thailand's trade link to Africa.
During the past decades, competition in the world market has drastically changed. In the past, tax and duties were the main concerns for exporters. Nowadays, trade burdens such as food safety standards and other environmental demands are the main concerns. Thailand regards these burdens as opportunities to enhance production potential. Other challenges are an aging population, increases in labor costs, shrinking agricultural land, and an increasingly demanding consumer. Thailand has to meet consumer demands head-on if it is to succeed as the kitchen of the world.
So you need to understand the demand that change dynamically in various parts of the world and trying to meet those needs. For example, like I mentioned earlier, quality products, safe products, healthier products. So that's one challenge.
Another challenge is the potential impact of climate change.
I don't know if it will really happen or how much it will change or affect Thai agricultural production, but we have to be prepared for that change over time.
It has created much debate around the role of biotechnology. Genetically modified foods are only permitted in Thailand under the strictest guidelines developed by the National Biosafety Committee.
We should concern about the social responsibility, the environment. This is the way that I think every factory in the world should consider about this. And they did not be the green industry only. Their supplier also should do. And now we have about 600 factories that implement this.
Leading the charge is the Harun Pokland Group, the largest food company in the ASEAN and other of the world's biggest poultry producers. It is investing over 100 million euro to turn its 323 operations green within 5 years. Nearly half of its operations are already using biomass to generate green energy. CP Foods already owns convenience stores and supermarkets, and over 100 of its products declare its carbon footprint on the label.
Our product is good and sustainable and good for the earth as well. Not only for the company, have to good for the country, good for the people as well.
Carbon footprint refers to a product's impact on the environment during its life cycle. Dr. Ratanawang Mungkung, director at Kasetsart University's Center for Excellence and Environmental Strategy for Green Business, is driving the Thai Carbon Footprint and Labeling Initiative.
Especially in Thailand, I think now the awareness is increased because we get a big impact, especially on agriculture activities, seasonal shifting, small rain in some areas, and in some areas we already face the drought issues. So this has become a big concern among the consumer in Thailand.
The Thai Carbon Footprint and Labeling Initiative aims to provide environmentally conscious consumers with an alternative product and encourage processors to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
I think that one very important message here is that Thailand is the very first country from developing world and the very first country from ASEAN region who developed the national guideline on carbon footprint, and we also launched carbon footprinting labeling scheme, so that we show the world that we are ready to take up these issues and we are ready to respond to the markets if they want us to declare the carbon footprint information on the products.
Dr. Mungkung says there are many ways companies can reduce their carbon footprint, and by improving their green productivity, they can also save costs.
They have to increase the energy efficiency and they have to reduce the waste so that they can reduce the cost of production cost along the whole supply chain.
Green initiatives have proved extremely profitable for the leading manufacturer of UHT coconut milk and health drinks, Ampol Food Processing. The enormous byproduct of coconut shell is turned into wood pellets that are burned to generate energy for its manufacturing processes. a saving of around $32,000 per month.
We think about when we produce the product, we have to have some waste. We think about why don't we manage it and make them useful. We have to care about the society and environment the most.
Since its launch in 2009, almost 1,000 products now indicate their carbon footprint on the label, half of them food products. Dr. Mungkung says the initiative is gaining ground. Dr. Mungkung has developed a simple toolkit that helps small companies to calculate their carbon footprint, which is quite a complicated process. The initiative is funded by government to keep implementation costs low. Thailand also wants to become a hub for the emerging bioplastics industry. As Southeast Asia's largest plastics processing industry, it hopes that its processing expertise and anticipated supply of locally produced polymers will attract considerable investment. The first step is to ensure that enough feedstock from sugarcane and cassava is available for commercial production.
We could also plan the raw material every year. Second, they could be biodegradable packaging. For example, if we use bioplastic packaging and throw it away in the nature, so this could be biodegradable within 6 months. And to compare with the usual plastic packaging, we need, 300 years or more.
Food packaging especially has high potential. The growing demand for ready-to-eat food is, by the nature of their functionality, also associated with a rise in packaging waste. The NIA hopes that consumers will be willing to pay more for products in environmentally friendly packaging. Thailand is fast establishing itself as a processing hub for halal foods. Southern neighbours Malaysia and Indonesia are two of its biggest markets, with exports worth around 10 billion Thai baht. Thailand is also looking towards the Middle East and Russia. To boost production and raise food standards, the government wants to turn the country's southernmost provinces into a major production base for halal food. The World Bank ranked Thailand as the 16th easiest place to do business. The country ranked even higher when it came to the protection of investor assets.
Thailand is probably the easiest place in the world to do business and to live. Particular, we have a very good quality of life here.
Dan Foxman, managing director at the Thai freeze-dry company, has been doing business in Chiang Mai for a number of years.
We're a BOI company. We're supported by the Thailand Board of Investments, which means they actually promote what we're doing. And so the government has actually been really supportive and it has helped us. I pretty much enjoy doing business here.
Xavier Boucher is the managing director of Blue Spice.
Many people here speak English, so it's quite easy to communicate with people. And I think Thailand is well recognized for the quality of the work they do, especially in terms of food. The Thai government is promoting a lot that Thailand is one of the main food factory for the entire world, and the quality of work here for food factory is very good. And we can find easily professional people which knows everything about quality, production.
I think this is come from only one word, trust. When we say trust, it's come from so many letters. Like the first T, it means technology. You have the experience, you have the know-how that you start it for a long time. For the R, it means responsibility. You should responsible for the consumer, for the social, for the environment. And U, it means useful. That means the product that you produce is should good for health, for consume. And S, it means safety, food safety, satisfaction. And the last one, T, is mean together. That means you should work together with your importer. You should work together with your client. And That means you can win together. That means not only you that you take, you should give also.
The Thai food industry has also taken note of Africa's growing potential.
Number one, we have the ASEAN country. Number two is Japan, US, EU, and number 5 is Africa. So that means we're thinking that Africa also is the, let's say that one of our niche market that we try to have more and more trade between both two countries.
We're buying a lot of things from Mozambique and Madagascar, particularly on the east coast of Eastern Africa. On the west coast, like Ivory Coast, they buy a lot of rice from us. And they're starting to buy consumer products from Thailand.
Thailand is working towards strengthening relations with Africa.
I think there are a lot of resources that in African countries can be better developed. But unfortunately, it's very far from Thailand. 12-hour flight and 20 days by sea. But I think we can have some cooperation.
We also would like to perhaps become a partner in terms of bringing the knowledge and know-how to Africa. There are, I can read somewhere that 60% of the world arable land are in Africa. So, which means that they have abundance in very, very fertile land. I'm encouraging Thai businessmen perhaps to come to Africa and join hands with perhaps local partner to grow, maybe to have some farm. For example, I'm thinking about, with the cashew nuts in Mozambique. Also, you have the beautiful fertile land in KwaZulu-Natal. You have very fertile land in Mpumalanga, for example. These are examples of which we can perhaps find partnership with Africa.
Chinese folk came to Thailand, enjoyed it because here people are so comfortable, they don't have to work that hard. But Chinese folk come here and work harder and then develop Thailand or help develop Thailand. And now we're going to go help Africa develop.
Africa seems to be the next logical export market for Thailand. But with or without Africa's help, the world waits to see what the kitchen of the world will serve up next.